have to pull it all off in one go. We're going to create a block paving path in this. First step we've got is to level out this 6mm to dust. And be slightly higher than the bottom of the edgings. It's important your edges are contained, but that needs to be in another video. Basically, your edges have got to be contained because that's what's stopping everything moving out and sinking over time. So what you want to do, you want to level this dust just higher than the bottom of the edgings. And what we want to do then is we're going to run the compactor over it, give it a quick compaction, and then we'll screed it out. And we're also allowing then for the blocks to be laid so they're slightly higher than the edgings, and when they get whacked down at the end then on top of the blocks, the whacking should bring the blocks flush with the top of the edgings, if that all makes sense. And this dust we're using, we're looking to lay 40-ish millimeters in depth, because with that sort of depth we know that the blocks are going to sort of squash down 5 to 7 mil, roughly that much. It's not an exact science, but you've got to know how much they're going to squash down. And what you don't want is the blocks to squash down too much in the end, because that would be very wrong as well. So I've notched a bit of timber out here. I've allowed for about 6mm for these to squash down. So I've taken off 44mm, the blocks are 50mm thick, I've taken off 44mm off this timber. And then using the top of these blocks as a guide, we want to screed out like so. Looking for any hollows. There shouldn't be any hollows, this is why we left it proud, so you haven't got to do any filling in. Just want to make sure no stupid bits are sticking up anywhere, and make sure you're touching the block as you come down. And here's another tip as well, try not to go on it once you've screeded it, because you don't want any odd compaction, so you don't want to be stepping all over it. And then really you want to have a barrow with you, so you can just put any surplus into it as you're going. We've got enough to play with for now. And try and make sure the top of these blocks is clean as stone, so you're not dragging all the stone over it. We need to get some rest. And any corners you couldn't get into with the whacker, just use a hand tamper. To pull it all off in one go, you can do a few passes like this. doing a 45-degree herringbone path here. Just starting it off. I'm trying to avoid having any weird cuts in it, but I don't think it's going to be possible because of the curve. We'll try our best. Just a case of getting it right from the start and then following the pattern. Because all the hard work's been done with the screeding. Once I've got a chunk of stuff laid, I can just work off these and I can lean on these and keep moving forward. Just check every now and then for square, but as long as you started right, should be pretty good. You might just have to put them on the edges now, Danny. These edges. Obviously all the cuts we'll do at the end then, so we're not stop start, we'll get all the full ones down first. All the cuts at the end. A lot of cuts. A lot of cuts. So we're just coming to the end of putting these full ones down now, and we'll get on with all of the cuts. It's going to be cut after cut after cut. But yeah, all these full ones, they fly down nice and quick. Surprising how quick you can get a big driveway done with these. Very satisfying actually. That's the last full one there. Right, we're gonna do a few cuts now. I'm gonna be cutting them with the disc cutter because my block splitter isn't cutting them clean enough, basically. You can get better block splitters, and I'm sure they cut it clean enough, but I'm not happy with how clean they're cutting it. So we use a disc cutter with a water feed. So we're just marking it with this resin chalk marker, and then nipping it with the disc cutter. Bit of a slow process, but gives us nice clean cuts. And try and do a very slight angle chamfer back, so it'll just help you get them in nicely. Another thing to note is, especially if you've got vehicular traffic, your cuts, if you've got any small pieces, they shouldn't be less than a third of a block. We're not going to be too bothered because there's only foot traffic on this, but if you have got vehicle traffic, you really should be turning your pattern. So where we got a small piece here, that wouldn't go in if it was a driveway with cars on it. And you'd make this one a half, and you turn the pattern then, so you've got a big cut going back in. But to keep the appearance, we're going to do it. But obviously, you know, if there's any slithers, we're not going to put those in. Because basically, if there's anything less than a third, it'll just sink more than the rest. Danny, can you go and get me the, you know, the angle?
Winder.
Yeah. What's it called again?
Yeah.
So a good example here of where we have had to turn the pattern. Like down there, maybe should have turned it, but there was enough of the cut left. But if we didn't turn the pattern here, what you'd end up with is like a tiny little piece left, which you can't fill with sand, and you're not going to put a cut in, so we have to turn it. Again, is it this one? This one just won't get away with it. But you come down here and have a look. So you can see here, we're about to do 3 cuts like that, because the alternative then, if we followed the pattern, we'd have that, and we'd have that cut. Even though that's not tiny, it's still getting a bit small. And then here's another good example. Yeah, this is a very good example here. If you'd have put the block in where it should be, you'd end up with this little slither, and you just can't do it. So you have to turn the pattern to that. And I know it doesn't quite look right, but it is right. So that explains that. And if you see little slithers on the driveway and stuff, tiny slithers like that, that is not correct, because all they'll do, they'll just sink over time. They haven't got enough body to them. I use this little tool here just to stop it sinking. If I didn't have that now, we're just doing that. So I use that to bridge the block and just help me mark it. And just lie that up. You want to be straight over the paving if you can. That's the easiest way of doing it. Getting the most accurate cut. So now we got all these cuts in. The next stage is to put kiln dry sand in. So you want to tip a few piles out of the sand. You've got to make sure your paviours are dry for this, otherwise it will not work, because if the paviours are damp, it will just soak up all the moisture. Sorry, the sand will soak up all the moisture. So sweep it into the joints. I'm going to worry about them being completely full at the moment. Just want to get a bit of coverage in there. Just work your way down. So. Obviously he's going to need a fair bit of topping up when the whacker goes on it and moves it about more. Remember, when you use the whacker with this sand, make sure you wear a mask. Just keep working it into all the bits. So the final stage now is just to brush all the remaining sand off and into the joints. And you can have a look at topping it up when it's after it's rained, possibly, just to see if any needs topping up.